Brew Strong is brought to you by Blichmann Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blichmannengineering.com.
It's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings, cretins.
Hello from Indiana.
Hello from Indiana.
The middle of nowhere. It's not the end of the earth, but you can see it from there.
Yes, we have the joy of not one but two Johns in the studio today. We've got my partner and good friend John Blichmann, not John Palmer, and my good friend and not partner John Blichmann.
It's
I'm
great
somehow
to be here.
pleased with that arrangement.
Well, you just have to come back more often.
Right. I mean, I guess, in a way, you are a partner because you've been sponsoring this show for such a long time.
It has been a while. How long has it been?
Oh, not that long. Just keep writing the checks. Don't worry about it. It really has paid off. Don't look at the total you've spent. Look at, just look at it as it's only one more check.
For Justin, it's just an entitlement now. So we're good with it.
That's right, yeah. It's like welfare. Well, and since you're here, I would say something wonderful about you, wonderful about your products, wonderful about all the people that work for you.
Yeah, usually we say you're innovative, but we should probably come up with something different this time.
No, I was thinking you could, what would you say for your own spot here on the Brewing Network? How would you describe Blichmann Engineering?
How would I describe Blichmann Engineering? Group of homebrewers that...
You can't use the word F.
I shan't.
Okay.
But just a group of great people that love beer, except for our bookkeeper, accountant. She doesn't like beer. I don't know what the hell is going on there, but...
The one sober person.
You got to get her the right beer.
Well, I like her a lot because she does her job well.
That she does. She's the female in there that keeps us all in line. We do have Aaron that joined us to do all of our marketing promotion stuff. So we have somebody to fill in when Ann's gone.
So
to let us know what to do. But
you would just so the
one word.
The description I should use when I am talking about Blichmann Engineering is a bunch of homebrewers who like beer. That's what you
pretty
just
much
told
it.
me.
That's where it all started, and that's where where our passion lies. And
I think
it shows up in our equipment.
My live read is so much better than yours. Oh, and it's
that's why you do this for a living,
right? The passion shows up in the equipment. Yes, and I've said that before. You know what really amazes me every time I meet with you and your guys, and you guys, it's like you bring out the whole crew to these homebrewer conferences and stuff, and we get to spend time together, and I just get a big kick out of how passionate they all are about everything they do, and they have a real interest in the engineering of things and creating of things, and just they seem to all love the work that they do and the company that they work for and the customers that they have, and it's it shows a real passion for not just a job or working. It's a passion for beer and brewing and the customers, or even partners, you would say, that your customers are to you. It's just wonderful. It's full of innovation. It's full of excitement. It's full of wonder. And when I hang out with you guys, I just love it. I think, wow, what a great group of folks, and what they do, and it's how cool it is that we're associated through the show, and that you sponsor us, and I feel in a way that the fact that you sponsor us is like you think what we're doing is actually good too. I don't think you would do anything that was worthless or meaningless or didn't somehow help people. And I think that one of the reasons you pay for this, you probably don't get your money's worth out of it, but you do it because you think it's worthwhile. It's like something it's like, well, it's a few bucks to charity because that charity's doing a good thing.
Very well put. And we do look at it that it's when we first started looking at sponsoring the show, and I listened to a few episodes, it was very clear that's what homebrewing is about. It's about sharing that knowledge, and everybody shares that in certain ways. Some is recipe development, some is just the technical nature of the business, and for us, it's sharing our ability to develop equipment that we can in all of those environments help homebrewing as a hobby along. But also help that individual through their brew day, so that they just have a more rich experience and are growing and learning.
Yeah. Well, I think you do a wonderful job, and I suggest everyone go to BlichmannEngineering.com. Blichmann with a B. There's like an N in there. There's a .com, all this stuff, BlichmannEngineering.com. Go check them out online. Lots of good website, lists a lot of interesting stuff. And if you enjoy the fact that John sponsors this show, I would suggest you send an email. You can send it to feedback at Blichmann Engineering.
It's support at BlichmannEngineering.com.
Support at Blichmann. Yep. Well, I've been telling them the wrong one. That's why you haven't been getting the emails, because there could be thousands of emails. Support. There's a feedback too. I've seen email from feedback at BlichmannEngineering.com.
We're forwarding that one on.
Okay. Well, so then the reason you didn't get those emails was just because you weren't paying attention.
And I will say it's great to hear that. And
people ask where to send their email to you, and I'm like, I don't know.
But it's great to get that feedback, to know that you're helping, and it's very humbling to know that wow, you're really, as an individual, I was
making
just
a difference. Yeah,
just over you're making a difference. Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you what's really cool. I think a lot of people who would come to the show as a sponsor be like, all right, I want to talk about something I'm going to sell, something I want to promote. You came with, hey, remember we were talking about like double mashing and using the sparge from one to mash something and get a stronger beer. So you've got all this data. You went ahead and figured out all this, so our listeners actually have an answer to that question.
Yes, I was very fascinated by that way to brew a bigger beer, and I just had to wait till my kids were back in school, so I had enough time to mess around with doing some experimentation. So they're all back in school. Brew day's a little easier to negotiate. Of course, I have to start at 5 in the morning, because then I'm done by the time everybody else is out of bed on Saturday. What the hell?
Right. Okay, so remind us what it was that inspired you to look into taking essentially the runnings of one mash and using it as your strike water for a second mash.
We were talking about the strongest beer at the NHC. You were talking about the Brew Easy, and one of the questions that we got was, how strong of a beer can I brew in that? And so we talked about that in regards to just a single mash, loading it up with as much malt as the mash tun would handle. And then we talked about, well, you could add extract if you want to brew a higher gravity beer. And then you actually had the idea of, well, what if you just did a second mash, added some additional malt to the mash tun after cleaning it out, and doing another mash,
run it back through. Yeah.
So I got to thinking, that's a pretty slick idea.
Right.
So I figured, I'm going to give that a ride.
Right. Because you're not really 100% sure what's going to happen. Do you end up with just the same gravity running off again? And it's like people say, well, it's only going to dissolve so much sugar. It's only so much is going to happen. Only so much activity takes place. So you went ahead and you actually did this, and you brewed beer with this, and you have the information for us, the data, so you can fully answer the question for our listeners.
Yes, and I even managed to figure out a kind of a backdoor way to work with Beersmith to be able to predict that using a double mash. So.
Well, let's do this. Let's take a short break, and we'll find out after the break why you're so fond of the back door.
I knew that was not going to be let slide by.
The same thing. I was like, I can't believe he just let that pass.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to let it pass. We'll be back right after this.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blichmann Engineering has the answer. The Blichmann Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blichmann Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blichmann Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blichmann Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlichmannEngineering.com and brew with Blichmann quality on your new Brew Easy. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SanaClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew strong.
All right, we're back. I've got John and John
in the studio,
and Steve and Bevo. Bevo looking classically beautiful, like she always does.
I forgot to print out a live read for you, so I was just taking care of that.
See, and also doing hard work.
That's right.
Yes. So,
what did John do?
What did John do? John, what did you do?
What did I do? Well, I looked
involved
in
the
my
back door somehow. That's all I remember from
the previous
segment.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was sitting on the crapper reading the book that's perfect for reading when you're sitting on the crapper, and that is Classic Styles by Jamil and John.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, we're not applauding.
So I figured, I thumbed through and I found the recipe Old Monster Barley Wine. Hadn't brewed a barley wine in a long, long time. So I thought,
yes.
I'm going to give that a ride.
Uh-huh.
So I, just to make the math real easy, it turned out to be I did a 5-gallon batch in a 5-gallon Brew Easy. So it's a no sparge system, which would lend itself well to high gravity beer because you're not diluting; you're just going to drain. And it was a total of 30-pound malt bill. So I actually split it up into 2 completely even 15-pound mashes, which was very easy.
How many pounds will the 5-gallon Brew Easy hold?
You can get 18 pounds in it.
So 15's easy.
Yeah, 15's fairly easy.
Okay.
Yeah, 15's fairly easy.
It's not crazy jamming it in. It's dry as the Sahara.
Yeah, it's about 80% full, I'd say, something like that, 75% full.
Right.
So it's fairly easy to do that. And you can adjust the water level in the mash to compensate for that.
Okay.
So they were identical batches. I made sure that I weighed them all separately so that I didn't end up with more roasted malt or chocolate malt in one and none in the other. That may affect the final mash pH. So I then created in Beersmith a recipe for the overall using 30 pounds. To figure out how much water I needed for the total brew session, and then I created a half batch or first mash recipe in Beersmith, and then used that water amount in that recipe. So then I would know how much water to expect in my brew kettle after, and would know what to expect as far as specific gravity, et cetera, et cetera. So I ran that first mash, and it was, let me see here. I ran it with 15 pounds of malt, and it was 10.6 gallons of RO water that I corrected to just a touch over 100 ppm of calcium. So about 9.5 grams of gypsum, about 7.4 grams of calcium chloride. And so I did the initial infusion to strike at 148. I wanted to get as much attenuation as I could. So mashed that and let it go for hour and a half mash just to make sure I got as much as I possibly could. The pH came right in at 5.15. So hot, yes. So right at mash temperature. I did not perform a mash out because I was going to need to restrike with that water, and it would have ended up being too hot for the strike, and I didn't want to jack around getting a immersion chiller out and cooling it back off.
Well, and you're going into more enzymes anyways,
yes.
so really no need to.
Yeah, the only thing that you do gain, other than stopping enzymatic activity, is you're thinning that work down a little bit, so you get a little bit better extraction efficiency just because you're because you're a less viscous wort. So in this case, I just drained it slowly into the boil kettle and ended up with collecting 9.1 gallons of wort at 1.044 specific gravity, and that gave me a mash efficiency of 73%. I normally get about 71 on my Brewsy with most of the 050 to 060 beers, so it was a little bit higher. Most likely due to the large amount of water I used. So it was a pretty thin mash. It was almost 4. I have to calculate out about 4 quarts per pound. So a pretty thin mash.
Yeah, that would give you theoretical yield of. Actually, I don't even have the number on here.
Past the chart.
Yeah, it goes past the chart. It's down in the 1040 area, though.
Okay. Yep. So I was measuring right at 1044. So then I basically just cleaned out the mash tun, loaded it back up with the malt again, or actually I pumped the wort back up to the mash tun,
and then dough'd in, 15 pounds.
Right. Got everything back up to the temperature I needed for strike. Dough'd in, and then just recirculated for the second mash. And in this case, there was no more water to add, no more salts, and that mash came in at 5.1 pH, so a little bit less. And again, these were measured at mash temp, and I'm not sure if that, if getting, what that lower threshold is for mash pH, where you start having problems.
It's if you measure at room temp, if you get below 5.0, like 4.9, that's where you start having problems. You're at 5.1 at mash pH, mash temp.
Yeah, so I'll be about 5.3.
5.4.
Yeah, 5.4.
Yeah, 5.3.
So yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So that's good. That's a good piece of information to know. See, something else that we've learned on Brew Strong today.
We have a lot of people that became commercial brewers based off of listening to us, which might be the downfall of craft beer as we know it, yes.
I think you've done pretty well with... Am I having an evil cousin right now?
Oh,
that's a good one.
Delicious.
Look at that lacing on that glass, huh?
That is perfect.
That is some sexy lace.
That's a clean glass. That's a well-made beer. There you're talking. Damn, I might have one. All right, so what was the result of this? I mean, what did you find from doing this? How different was this? I mean, the first mash, okay, that's pretty standard, right?
Yeah.
But the fascinating thing is taking that wort from the first, using it as strike water for the second. What did you find? How did it affect the numbers? What did you get? Because at some point you're thinking, oh, it's going to be just the same as any other beer. It's it's not going to. Some people would say, oh, it's not going to dissolve any more sugars out, or
you'll get the same amount of sugars
it's going to
as the first batch,
explode, or God knows what. All right, so what happened?
I just had a gut feel that I was going to lose efficiency from the second mash. And I guessed at about that I would be about 65% mash efficiency overall on the whole thing, dropping, 8, 9, 10% off of my normal efficiency.
Because you got 73 on the first.
Yes.
And what did you get on the second? What was the end result?
The overall, because I wasn't really directly able to measure the second mash efficiency itself, so the overall, I was at 64% overall. So I basically did the average thing, since I used the exact same amount of malt on each. So it was, I just calculated what efficiency 73 plus X over 2 equals the 64 that I got, and that calculated out to right at, where do I have it on here? The second mash efficiency of about 55%.
Mm-hmm. Which is not bad. There's a lot of people that they'll get 50 some odd, 60 some odd percent. And what was the final gravity of the wort that you got?
What I ended up collecting into the kettle at the very end was 7.4 gallons at 1.094 specific gravity.
Wow.
And ended up boiling that down to 6 gallons at 1.12 specific gravity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And was that your target?
Yes, that was right about where I wanted to be.
Oh,
but if I did it again, I would brew just a little bit more because, man, there was a crap ton of trub. And I'm trying to remember exactly how much hops are in that batch, but I think it was about 6 ounces, if I remember right. Something
So you didn't net
hops.
Quite enough.
Yeah.
Right.
There was quite a bit.
Well, and how long did you have to boil? I mean, it wasn't some long, extended boil, right?
No, I only boiled an hour.
Yeah, you weren't that far off.
No.
So, I mean, the traditional thing is, okay, I'm going to, collect a whole bunch of, lower runnings, and then I'm just going to boil it for 3-4 hours to try and get to 1120.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's that's a way to do it. Another way is just brew the strongest beer you can.
Right.
And just go the extract route to make up some of the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But John, what did on your chart there? Explain that a little bit. That was kind of a neat thing when I got to talking to John about this.
Yeah.
What is some theoretical maximums, or are there theoretical maximums?
Yeah. Well, it turns out that it is particularly for a single mash. You can predict your first runnings gravity strictly from the water to grist ratio. Now, the water to grist ratio has to be in terms of weight, so either liters per kilogram, or more specifically, the actual density of water per kilogram times the liters. But yeah, liters per kilogram is a good estimate. Liters per kilogram is roughly twice what quarts per pound is. So if we look at
isn't quarts per pound pounds per pound? Pound of water, pound of...
Well, no,
a quart?
It's 2 pounds per quart.
Oh, two quart, yeah.
2.055.
There you go.
Pounds per quart.
Okay.
So, so it's roughly twice. So you were doing, for the first mash, we should calculate this. First mash, you did 10 gallons...
It was 9.1 gallons.
What was it going in?
The 10.6 gallons.
Okay, so that's roughly 43 quarts for 15 gallons. So that's almost 3 quarts per pound. If it was 45 quarts, then that'd be 3 quarts per pound, and that works out to a ratio of 6. So you look at the chart and you look at the expected runnings gravity for 6 quarts per pound, and lo and behold, you get 1045.
And I was at 1.044. So
yeah,
that's within measurement.
Yeah, that's right there. Now for the second one, you had 9 point, or roughly, call it 9, make the numbers easier. So that works out to 9 gallons is 36 quarts over 15 pounds. That works out to about 2 and 3. No, 2
would
and
have
2
been over
fists.
30. Well, it depends how you would calculate that.
So that's 2.4 quarts per pound, or 4.8 kilograms or liters per kilogram. And the anticipated runnings gravity for a ratio of 4.8 is only 1060. So, if you'd done that mash strictly by itself with water, 15, 9 gallons to 15 pounds, you would have gotten a runnings gravity of about 1060, but you got 1090.
Right.
So, quite a fair increase then.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were starting with
40, 45.
We were starting with
instead of 104, you ended up with 90.
Yeah. So
now,
almost like additive.
My question would be this. For me, I really don't care about the cost of malt or anything. I want to make the best beer possible.
Right.
But a lot of people would say, okay, could I run off one beer first and make a ordinary strength beer at 1044, then take second runnings and use the second runnings into that mash? I mean, at what point do I not get a return on a higher second runnings? So you take you take that second runnings and you use that for the strike water for the second mash, instead of just using regular water or using your first runnings off the first mash.
Yeah. Well,
so you get a beer out, and then your second runnings you use that.
Yeah. Your second runnings would have been, I don't know, I think it's roughly a third the gravity of your first runnings, if I remember right. And so,
would you lose less in the translation? Is there a point where
I don't think you would have gotten as high a final gravity. I don't think you would have gotten 1090. I think you would have gotten more like 1075.
Right. Is there a point where if your first runnings, let's say we mixed extract in and got up to, our first runnings were 1080, and then put that into the second runnings, would we see a further drop off in the second batch?
I mean, isn't that similar to just sparging instead of just draining the mash tun? Where you sparge down to like 1.01.
I don't know. So what I'm saying is, you've done your first mash and you've gotten this liquid out of it, and then you've
just
put that
a normal drain, just a normal drain.
Right, and you put that into your second mash, and you've gotten a value out of it, and that value is less than the sum of its parts by a certain percentage.
Yep.
But the benefit is you don't have to boil for 3 hours. You actually got that in a much easier and shorter time. That loss of percentage or of points that happened in the second mash, if you lowered the initial gravity of what you put in, would you recover those missing points? Is there a limit? In other words, if the gravity of what you put in from the first mash was higher, would that loss be higher? If you reduce the gravity of the first runnings that went in, would your loss be lower?
Sounds like I'm going to need to run another experiment.
I think you need to run like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's take another short break. When we come back, hopefully the studio panel will still work.
One channel just cut out for me.
Yes, I'm starting to hear popping in my headphones.
Well,
accidents happen.
A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com. Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, they're amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and a homebrewer's answer book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com. There are two types of people in the world, naughty and nice. GrogTag is letting you tell it like it is with their naughty or nice labels for the holidays. Grandma getting you down? Slap a naughty label on that 4-year-old pale ale and put it under the tree. Did your Uncle Sal add you to his will? Well, he deserves your freshest batch of IPA with a custom nice label. Pick up one set of each and take 25% off your order by either entering code NAUGHTY or NICE at checkout. We all know how much beer you have to get rid of, so why not make it look good? Go find them at grogtag.com and don't forget to sign up for their newsletter to learn about the Gifting with GrogTag 12-day sale during Christmas. GrogTag. At least your beer will look good.
Hi, this is Brandon from Drake's Brewing Company, here to warn you about the impending apocalypse. This year, we're unleashing our Four Horsemen on Saturday, January 23rd from 12 to 6 p.m. at Drake's in San Leandro. In addition to the return of Apocalypse Double IPA and Black Label Triple IPA, we're adding the next two riders, Red Label and White Label. In case you thought Apocalypse Day couldn't get any bigger, you thought wrong. We invited more than a dozen of our favorite West Coast breweries to pour hard-to-find double and triple IPAs, including Cellarmaker, Russian River, Boneyard, Beechwood, and many more. Pre-sale tickets are on sale now and start at just $25. Black Label is limited to 6 bottles per person. Go to drinkdrakes.com for more info and brace yourself. The end is beer.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're having a heck of a time here in the studio. It has been
Jesus Christ.
It has been one of those days, I think.
Yep.
This
Porno
is what
Steve. Are you going back to the porn industry? Have you given up on this radio gig?
Yeah, I think this is just not for me. I tend to make a mess, and I think that's actually
you tend to make a mess in porno or in radio?
No. I make a mess here, and that's, I feel like, encouraged in the other industry.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah.
Have you seen Texas Crack Wrangler? It's Steve's claim to fame.
It's my yeah.
1 and 2. Yeah.
You can get it off of our fine sponsor, AdamandEve.com. If you use the offer code Jamil, JAMIL, my name, at AdamandEve.com, for a limited time, you're going to get yourself a special gift for her, a special gift for him.
A bib?
And John, check this out, a special gift for both of you.
Oh, wow.
Are you getting enough? I'll tell you, you can get 10 free gifts. You get the special gifts. You're going to get free shipping. on the whole thing, and 6 free adult DVDs. And I bet you could pick up Texas Crack Wrangler. No problem. See Porno Steve in it anytime you're looking, right? So check it out, adamandeve.com. Use offer code Jamil, Jamil, and see Steve in Texas Crack Wrangler today. All right, so we were talking. Oh, see, John, you're too ugly to be on camera. That's what Devo just said.
No, that's not. It was
She was just like,
right between you and John, and it was hitting
oh,
the face.
there you go. Oh, that happens in Texas Crack Wrangler, too. John, so...
Nothing like a video facial.
Aren't you glad you're paying for this show? I'm just saying. All our listeners don't have to pay because you're paying? Aren't you glad you're
I could
providing
stand
this show?
on a building and throw money off the roof, or I could sponsor this show. It'd be about the same value.
Oh, yeah, the same impact on the world, I think, like littering, it's pretty much the same. All right, so before the break, or during the break,
before the spill,
Mr. Palmer, John Palmer, you had trouble reading your own chart, is what you're telling me.
Yes, I had forgotten that the chart is written in liters per kilogram rather than quarts per pound.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So I had to multiply everything by 2.
So the fascinating result is you discovered that the two were additive.
Yes, the 2 worts are additive.
He did not lose any,
or very little,
or
maybe like
a tiny amount of extract by doing this.
That's right. Yeah, the first runnings gravity chart versus water to grist ratio in liters per kilogram predicts a gravity of between 1042 and 1045 for a ratio of 5.75, and a gravity of 10.49 to 10.53 for a gravity of 4.75, which are the 2 first and second mash ratios. So if you got 1090 or 1094... 1094. So really,
so exactly,
yeah, exactly additive. So that's really nice. I mean, to know that you can add the gravities together like that.
So
for the second mash,
I think your experiments of what the limit is, I don't think that's necessary. Or maybe it is, because maybe 1044, 1045, that's fine if you if you got up to maybe 1090. So the question would be, can you triple mash? If you took 1094 and put that into another mash, could you get up into the hundreds? Or
no, because I'm not spending 9 hours freaking brewing.
Oh, come on, John. This is what you do.
I've got till 11 or 12 when the family's up to stop stinking up the house. That's how much time I got.
Tell them brewing requires sacrifice.
That's not happening.
I'll start at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
You got it. Absolutely.
I'll get her done.
Yeah. Brewing requires, a certain amount of sacrifice, whether they're small kittens or frogs,
Your family.
Yeah.
Time, sleep.
I didn't really have much understanding and appreciation for the business until I started actually earning money.
Right.
And then it was okay.
It's like, oh, my God, this sucks. People actually run businesses for a living.
And then it was, you're going to quit your day job? What you talking about, Willis? That's a blow.
Your wife calls
that's
you
a
Willis?
throwback.
Is that what you're saying? Is that what you've just revealed on the show?
Oh, the things that she calls me can't be said on, even on this show.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Now, she's extremely, it's kind of like, I think John and I need to get our wives together, because I think they would really...
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see that.
...have a lot in common.
Yeah. Make a DVD, put on Adam and Eve. You're talking about something entirely different. I'm sorry I went there. Oh, my bad.
Moving on. I have a chat room question.
Oh, chat room question.
Yes.
Like, what the F are you guys doing?
What exactly is happening right now? It just says, can you ask them about party gilling in the second mash?
Party guile in the second mash.
One thing I did really notice.
You obviously could have party guiled that second.
Absolutely. One thing I really did notice on that on the first running, the mash was very dry and not very sticky. When I did the second mash, it was fairly damp and
damp and sticky.
Damp and sticky.
It
Yes,
was warm, damp, and sticky.
Evidence of passion in the
Sadly,
beer.
Sounds like
it
rock
was a
candy to me.
passionate, sticky, wordy mess. But my immediate reaction was,
party guile.
if I had time, I'd do a second running and make
You have time.
Scottish ale or something out of that.
You can't sleep during the day when your family's awake?
No, it doesn't work. Then I've got all the other family.
Your daddy been
activities.
working and drinking all night? That doesn't fly.
I could have extracted a little bit more and made worties. Have you ever heard of a worty?
No, I have not heard of a worty.
Invented, I think, maybe not, by an intern of ours, engineering intern, and you take wort and either scotch or whiskey.
Oh,
and you blend them 50-50.
Oh, that's a old brewer's thing.
It's delicious.
That's how you start your morning. You take a glass of wort with a shot of whiskey.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Mix it together.
Here's the thing I don't understand. When I want to do something crazy and unusual at Heretic, what I do is I turn to the people I employ and say, "Hey, here's what we're doing. You need to do this, that, and the other thing," and they go, "Okay." They're like, "What do you expect out of this?" I'm like, "I don't know. I want to do it anyways." Now, why on God's green earth at Blichmann Engineering with a Brew Easy do you not make your employees do this for you?
They brew a lot.
Let them have them
What?
Have them do this. A triple batch.
And let them have all the fun?
Yes.
The
fun is watching them do it and not do the work yourself.
Oh, that's true.
That's the fun I enjoy as
I can sit around and supervise with beer.
Right. You drink beer, you watch them, you tell them what to do, say, "No, I want to do it differently." And they're like, "Well, you're not doing it." "Yes, I am." And you have them do what you say.
So a triple...
Yes, triple. 3 times.
We'll do a triple
you
mash.
You stopped early. 3.
Now... What could you do?
What's the math on that, John?
Yeah, do it.
I don't know.
Do an integral on this, and take it out to infinitum. And where would you be, John? Can you do that for us?
It's been 30 years since I had.
It would like you'd have barley plants at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That would be brilliant.
You'd have malt extract.
But John, I mean, if you do that triple mash, and let's get the data from that. I'll put this in the next edition of How to Brew. This will be one of the mashing methods. For high gravity works.
Alrighty, now that's a challenge I'm game for.
You could be immortalized in print.
Hey! I deserve a little credit for coming up with the idea here, man.
No,
come on.
It's John. It's all John.
Who said that?
Yeah, you're going to be immortalized because your name, John, will be on the book. Yeah. It won't say Blichmann. It'll just say John. Yeah. Oh, no. That means you, too. It says John Palmer, but that means you as well. That's also John. Yeah,
that picture of the brewery that we took of the three of us?
Yes.
We're going to use that in the book, but we're going to Photoshop out your face.
Well, thank you. Yeah, okay, fine. Hey, I'm the one coming up with the creative ideas. You guys are doing the math. Fine. I don't know.
That's true, John. This really was his idea many months ago.
And it's really painful to admit that.
Yeah. So we'll
make
a footnote.
Oh, sorry, I just baby barfed. It was a brilliant idea.
You know what else is brilliant? You know what else is excellent? Great fermentations, right? They're right there for you.
I started shopping at Great Fermentations in 1991.
Dang. Back when you were 5?
But John Bull Dusty Mull cans is about all you could get in the day.
Yeah, and they had good stuff, though.
I'm sensing a pattern. So what year did you get married?
80. Oh, dear God, I hope my wife isn't listening to this. 89. It's on the back of my shackle. My wedding ring. 89, 1989. June 17th, 1989.
So you resisted for a couple years.
I was married May 6th, 1989.
I was in kindergarten in 1989.
Huh. There you go. Well, all right. So Great Fermentations. I bet you know this. They have the largest catalog of Blichmann products on the web.
They have got every Blichmann thing you can imagine.
Look at that. GreatFermentations.com, right? They provide same-day shipping on some of the main items that most vendors, they're going to take like 3 weeks to get it to you. They actually have it in stock. You order what? What's one of the main items that you can order? They're going to like same-day
The
ship it to you.
Boilermaker kettles.
Boilermaker kettle, they got it in stock. Boom, going out same day. You order it that morning, they got it out that afternoon. Heading to you. Pretty damn good. Their staff, they are some of the best trained in using Blichmann products. So if you got a question, you can just call them up, say, hey, I bought this from you. Tell me how to work this thing. They know.
Absolutely do. They come up and visit us. I'm down there regularly buying my brewing ingredients, and
so they can ask you questions. They got like a line. It's like a direct connection to God. It's like being Jesus. They're Jesus. You're God. Yeah, exactly. Right? Oh, I guess it's it's all one of the three and the Holy Ghost and all that. I don't know.
Well, when they come up and visit Blichmann Engineering, that's not the assumption.
You
is
are
it?
shaking your head. Right. Well, check them out. They got great customer service, great place. And if you're looking for Blichmann gear, that's again one of the places that got the full lineup on their website. GreatFermentations.com. Check them out today. All right. So let's do this. Let's take one more short break, and when we come back, we'll try to somehow wrap up our thoughts
on double mashing.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way. Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company says making great beer is hard. Making the same great beer every day is harder. Brewers Publications announces its latest release for breweries of any type and size. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers by Mary Pelletieri. Proper quality management for small, regional, and national breweries is critical. Whether you are an established business or brand new, learn the best ways to create and manage a quality system in your brewery. This book will guide you in developing a comprehensive program that will grow with your brewery, help ensure quality processes in the brewery, and continue providing great beer for your fans. Quality management for breweries is critical for continued success. This guidebook teaches you to integrate quality management in every level of the operation. It will guide you in developing a comprehensive program to ensure quality processes in your brewery. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers, now available from Brewers Publications. Learn more at brewerspublications.com.
Say hello to my little friend.
You've heard about White Labs Pure Pitch yeast. Pure Pitch is yeast grown right in its final packaging. That means yeast that has never been exposed to the environment. And White Labs Pure Pitch yeast for homebrewers is now available to everyone at homebrew retailers nationwide. Easy to use, perfectly sized, and ready to pitch. White Labs yeast, packaged using their Flex Cell process, ensures the purest yeast on the market. Visit whitelabs.com to learn more about Pure Pitch, Flex Cell technology, and how it's created. Then visit a homebrew retailer near you for your own perfectly sized package of Pure Pitch yeast. And you can say hello to your own little friend. www.whitelabs.com.
That's it. I've had it. I am never
ever putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Learning to brew has never been so disgusting. This is Brew Strong.
Why not?
Right, back to having fun. God knows it's hard to tell for sure what's going on, but that's pretty much how we roll around here.
Yep.
You're seeing the finest the Brewing Network has to offer, John. Are you not impressed?
It's a matter of benchmark.
Yeah. The BM is very low here in the Brewing Network.
That's right.
Very low BM.
You
I'm
just set
quite. Go ahead.
you set low goals and you consistently fail to achieve them.
Yes.
It's the way it is.
But
You've described the past 10 years of my life. Absolutely.
I'm quite proud of our ability to rally and make things happen, even though we are currently functioning as one entire hot mess.
We are functioning. We are low functioning.
We do cheer on the underdog. That's true.
Let's go, Jamil.
Oh my
We're rooting
God.
for you.
I'll tell you what. I would highly recommend, if you want to listen to something that highly quality produced like this. listen to yourself to the Sour Hour. They talk about sour beers.
And I had a sour today. What was that sour that I had?
Cherry Agony?
The Agony, the Cherry Agony.
Absolutely delicious.
At Heretic. Yes. Well, thank you very much. I'm very proud of that beer. I think it turned out great. I think the only one we've done that I feel is better would be the Passion Fruit, which was frickin' to die for. We bottled like 1,000 bottles, and we thought, oh, okay, we'll send some out to distributors, and it was like gone.
Wow.
And we got gone. It was like gone. It was incredible.
How did you make it?
We do a sour base. So we have a recipe that we do for low gravity, low hopped. We do wort for rare barrel. So similar to what they do, different. We have kind of our own take on it, and we'll brew the sour base. We'll ferment it with the White Labs 530 yeast. You need to actually produce some phenols. The phenols are part of the composition of the character that Brett will affect.
Eventually chew through.
If you don't produce those phenols, if you don't produce those characters, you end up with a different result. Still a nice result, but different result.
Yeah.
So it's an important part of kind of the funk of the Brett. So we'll ferment it with the 530 yeast, and then we will rack it into these wine barrels. We get wine barrels locally in Napa. We will, first we'll actually dose it with Brett, Pedio, and Lacto.
Okay.
And then we'll transfer it to our barrels. We'll let it go for about a year in the barrels. And we try and keep it below 68 degrees. Let it go for about a year. Maybe a year and a couple of months. And then when it tastes about right, we will dose it with our fruit. So for cherry, we'll use sour cherries from Michigan. We'll do we'll do
Traverse
the
City
passion
cherries.
fruit. We'll do whatever fruit that we want to add. We like doing the fruit ones. I mean, it's nice as a unfruited, but And really, if you pick the right fruits, it can be something special.
Yeah.
So we'll dose it with a certain amount of fruit, and then we'll give it a couple more months to chew through the fruit sugars, but not, when I first started doing this, I would put fruits in early, and the fruit character at the end was really missing. And so one of the secrets that I found over time was put the fruit in at the end.
Yeah.
It'll chew through the sugars pretty fast. It'll re-ferment pretty quickly. And then you still have the fruit character. Then package it off, and, there you go.
Okay.
And turns out quite lovely.
So the passion fruit one that you like so much, I mean, I'm trying to think what passion fruit looks like. It's what's a small berry kind of thing, or
no? My berries are pretty good size.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
Fuzzy. It's anyway.
A little hairy.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to cough when you hold them.
So you crush those up, and then just add it to the barrels. Then.
Yes, right. So you can get passion fruit. You can actually get like puree. Okay. I would not go like juices or anything like that. But the passion fruit puree is fine, or you can get the whole fruit and just skin them and de-seed them and mash the heck out of them.
What kind of amount are you using?
Good question. It depends. So it depends on the kind of fruit. Certain fruits.
Some are stronger than others.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're working with raspberry, you put half a pound a gallon, and you got plenty.
Okay.
You do like peach. You're gonna do maybe a pound a gallon to 2 pounds a gallon before you really get a nice peach character. We did an apricot while you guys were at the brewery. We were just finishing up. We did a saison with apricots and Brett that we're putting in wine barrels.
Okay.
And we were putting 84 pounds of apricot puree into each barrel, each wine barrel. Each wine barrel holds about 60 gallons.
Okay.
So more than a pound a gallon, because you're only going to put 50 gallons of beer in on the 40 or the 80 some odd pounds of puree. Because you're talking about 10 gallons of puree at that point.
Okay.
So 10 gallons of puree, you're talking about 50. You're like a pound and 3/4 at that point.
Okay.
So certainly, it just depends on the fruit, the level
how
you
strong
want.
It is, yeah.
I mean, you have to mess around with all these. So a lot of these, what I did was initially I made like 30 wine barrels full of sour base, and then I tried all sorts of different fruits and berries and things like that, and flowers and all this stuff, and just to see which each one would do, and messed around with different amounts, and then just kind of went from there, and I kind of learned what really worked for me and what I thought had great balance. I like sours with balance.
Yeah.
I don't like sours that are just like.
Now, when you brew your base beer for the sours, do you use anything like unmalted wheat to give it some extra starch to chew through, or residual fermentables kind of thing for the bread?
We will do a bit, yeah.
A bit, yeah.
I don't know really how much difference it makes.
Oh, okay,
I'm not sure.
Because that's as I've been reading up on sours and producing sours for the next edition of How to Brew. That seemed to be one recommendation or tidbit that
residual dextrins and residual starches for the Brett, lacto, and Pinot to consume.
Chew through,
right,
consume, and but you're still using a single infusion mash for these beers.
Right. I don't think you need to do complex step mashes. One of the things I did as a homebrewer was throw in actual flour. At the end of the boil, just take a tablespoon of flour.
Okay.
Like bread flour. Throw it in your kettle.
Interesting. Okay.
And then you've got raw starch.
Yeah. Excellent.
Now, when you inoculate with your PDO, et cetera, are you doing that at the start of fermentation or after primary fermentation?
After primary. So we do the 530 yeast for primary. If you have enough time, I would throw in PDO. If you're also throwing in Brett. I wouldn't throw in PDO without Brett. I'd throw in Brett without PDO. So Brett and lacto, I think you can throw in at any time. And, if you got a short period of time, long period of time, you're going to be fine. If you're going to throw in PDO, it can produce, ropey and a lot of other characteristics, some buttery that you have to be consumed by the Brett. So you have to have Brett in with it, and you have to give it enough time. It takes a long time. So that's kind of the deal there. I forgot to point out to you guys when you're there, we actually were doing some spontaneous fermentation as well, because I believe we're in just like an ideal location for spontaneous ferment, because we get this breeze up off the ocean up through the delta. Uh-huh. And we have a bunch of wineries and fruit farms and, such that I believe that we're getting all that flora and fauna blown up towards us. We got a hill behind us, and I think it all just kind of like comes to rest right where we're at. And I think it kind of pools up right at the point that we're at. We've had, a number of freezing nights. You need a number of freezing nights to kind of drop down the bacteria activity, and the yeast are still fine. Mm-hmm. And I think, that's what they do in Belgium, and I think that's the reason why they do it. Yeah. And so we're doing some spontaneous ferments. We actually cultured all the yeast off of local grapes, wine grapes that were used to make a local wine that turned out really good.
Okay.
So we got some strains of Brett, we got some strains of yeast, we got some strains of bacteria off of that. And so I think it's going to turn out fantastic. I'm absolutely convinced.
That's interesting. I remember listening to a spontaneous fermentation lecture at the National MBA conference in Jacksonville this past year. Uh-huh. And a couple breweries from Maine were talking about how they do their spontaneous fermentations. And they'll... they said they look for, temperature. They tend to brew these beers in late November when they have
like 3 or 4 freezing nights.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, a little bit of snow on the ground. And
Same thing. We had 25 degrees in Fairfield.
Wow.
So we had some 25, 27, 30 something. Some seriously low temperatures, and I'm like, perfect time.
Yeah,
let's do this.
Yeah, kind of reduces a lot of the super funky stuff you get.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I don't know how we got on this, but I can talk about this forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was all the cherry agony. That was a delicious beer.
Indeed.
And John and I were talking on when we were driving from Heretic over here to Concord. In between the two incidents.
Oh, yes. That would be when we were in the midst of mall calculations. And is it, John, our exit's right there. And then there was a 3-lane swerve.
Right. John does not want to miss that exit. This is what I'm telling you. It was
quite impressive. There was only about 3 or 4 other cars that were put into a flat spin on the highway. So that wasn't bad.
Right.
They self-corrected.
They survived.
Yeah.
There was no
you guys
metal
got
contact.
here alive, which is all right. I can ask.
Indeed.
Indeed, yes.
All right, so what were you talking about? Oh, we were going to wrap this up.
Oh, yeah, that's
all right, so what can we conclude from your experiment, John?
I think what we can conclude is it's a great technique to really ratchet up your starting gravity if you have a mash tun limitation.
Right.
And, I think I always say, a lot of it kind of depends on, what's important to you. If it's important to you to really make that a complete all-grain beer, then this is just a great technique. Mm-hmm. If time is a vital thing for you, there's really no shame in adding extract if you need.
Sure.
And if money's an issue for you, there's nothing wrong with just boiling longer. Really getting that you're getting the most out of that malt, and then just boiling longer. So
I think all three would produce different beers.
I think they would.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's just a bombshell about this, I think we should be all Twittering and tweeting and Facebooking about this show, is that essentially you've proven that the results are additive.
Yeah.
Which is incredible, because if your mash tun only holds 18 pounds and you want to do a 36-pound mash, absolutely, go ahead. Put in the 18.
And put in another 18.
And then put in another 18. That's just amazing to me that is possible. Because otherwise, people are like, oh, my mash tun isn't big. I'd like to make this big beer, but my mash tun isn't big enough. So I'm going to make 2 gallons of this beer that's going to take me forever, and I'm going to age it for a year. And it's like, oh my God, when you're making a big beer like that's going to age for a decade, why are you making 2 gallons? For God's sakes, that's the worst thing to do.
Yeah,
when you're making a light session beer that'll go bad in 2 weeks, then make 2 gallons. If you're making something you're going to age for 5 years or until your daughter turns 21 or whatever it would be, for God's sakes, you want to make as much as you possibly can. You want to make 5 gallons. So you double mash this thing. That's brilliant. I think that's just awesome. I appreciate you for doing the work, thinking about it and actually following up on it and doing the work. John, for you doing the the chart and figuring all that out. That's amazing. I think that is just awesome.
And Jamil, great job coming up with that idea.
Hey, well,
Although I had
do
the
what I
sneaking
do.
feeling that I would need to be the one that proved it out.
Right. Yeah, because I'd be too lazy, or I'd have my guys do it.
You're a skilled delegator.
That's right. Exactly. I know how to organize. That's what I'm saying. No. All right. Let's wrap this up. I think that was brilliant, absolutely brilliant on behalf of both you guys. Thank you very much. And I really wish that people would light up the internet with this information. I don't know that anybody else has talked about this. Oh, wait.
Bevo has a question.
Hear 100% what you guys are talking about, so forgive me if you've already addressed this. But I do have a question from the chat room that is asking specifically to you, Palmer, to clarify if they would expect a decrease in the efficiency in the second mash with the higher gravity, or if it's really just totally additive.
Well, based on the model, and I will publish this in the next edition of How to Brew, but
and on this one example,
I mean,
it was
we are kind of working from one data point here, but the number model for a typical crush 75% efficiency, for instance, on the first mash predicted 1045, the second mash predicted 1053. So you got 1044 for the first one.
Oh, wait,
so that's
1053? You keep changing your numbers.
I'll elaborate.
All right.
1045 for the first.
Yeah.
You got 1044. So that's kind of in the noise,
Yeah.
But 1053, if we go to 70% efficiency, in other words, more typical of, say, a coarse grind versus the typical grind versus a fine grind, the number spit out from the spreadsheet was 1049. So you got 1050.
So you might lose a little bit.
2 points maybe.
But this was the question I had earlier. Yeah. So if our initial wort was more like 1060, would that efficiency in the second mash be even worse? Or would it remain the same?
Yeah,
I think there's more,
at this point. Yeah,
there's more data to be gathered, but I think it's fascinating that we're able to do a larger mash in two chunks.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
It was actually I was surprised how fast it was. As far as the process. While I'm after I'm draining, I'm having to heat up just a little bit for the strike. and I cleaned out the mash tun. I really just had to kind of spray it down because it wasn't like I was storing it. I wasn't putting it up wet.
Right.
So it was quick and right back into the other mash because it was already up then to temperature. So I just pumped back up to the mash tun. So it was actually a pretty quick process.
Well, the previous way that we would have done this to get 30 pounds of grain into the kettle would have been to do the first mash, run that out, start boiling it, start doing the second mash, and then run that into the kettle while it's boiling to get. Yeah. And then you boil for a ton of time to get to the same point. This is really just an eye opener. I think this is a new technique that a lot of people are. Maybe some people are out there are using
beer
it.
Coming out of this.
Yeah.
Double mash, double IPA.
All right, so we'll do that. That's fine. That's fine. I got no problem.
You get the guys to do it. Yeah.
I can pump. I'm pretty sure I can pump back from my kettle to my mash. My guys will absolutely despise me for this one. But
I'll do it on a small scale. We'll prove it out. We'll do this.
Oh, hell no. Let's do 30 barrels. I don't care. That would be cool. Let's do it. We'll do a barley wine that way.
I'll come out and shovel.
Yes.
All right. Hey.
When it comes to shoveling shit, there's no man better than John Blichmann. All right. Great show, everybody. I think we've hit our allotted time. All right. Let's wrap this up. Thank you, John Blichmann, for being here. Thank you for sponsoring the show for all these years. You don't know how much John and I appreciate that. I'm sure Justin really appreciates it.
Yeah, because we really never mentioned it.
He gets the checks. But I know our listeners absolutely appreciate it. Because if you had not been sponsoring the show, I doubt that we'd still be on the air. And they really think the world of, the fact that you do this for us.
I really appreciate what you guys do for the industry. And when I was first starting brewing in the dark days, the knowledge I gained from John's book and, from, others in the industry, the great folks at Great Fermentations, I firmly believe that where you take, you give. And I appreciate what you guys
where you
do for
push,
the industry.
you shove. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Let's not go back to the backdoor comment.
we never got clarification on that.
We'll pass.
All right, but if you enjoy the show, if you want to keep listening to this thing for free, make sure you check out BlichmannEngineering.com. They got all sorts of innovation for improving your brew day. Make sure you check out all our other fine sponsors. Make sure you check
out the new Anvil Brewing products.
The Anvil Brewing products. We didn't even get to those. Check out the Brewing Network store, thebrewingnetwork.com/store. You get hoodies, hats, growlers, glassware, all sorts of cool stuff for your brewing day. Makes you look good. Blichmann Engineering makes your beer good. So check them out. Until then, everybody, brew strong.
Brew strong, everyone.
Brew on.